My name is Dan Dorval, and I'm President and CEO of Dorval and Cherney Financial Advisors. I am an independent certified financial planner and author of my book, Financial Success for the Rest of Us, Reality-Based Financial Planning for Mainstream America.
Hi, my name is Leah Woodley. I'm an associate financial advisor with Dorval and Cherney Financial Advisors. Our conversations discuss what it means to do quality of life planning in all areas of your life. Dan, I'm not sure if you're aware how major of a deal cybercrimes are at this day and age, but as of 2024, as of right now, cybercrimes have cost US residents $452.3 billion. And when I saw that number, I'm like, that is astronomical. And it seems like these people who are committing the cyber crimes are targeting seniors, so those 65 and older, and they're also targeting businesses. So we've seen some like impersonations happening. I've saw that people are impersonating Best Buy and the Geek Squad via email, as well as PayPal. That is one of the more common impersonation attempts taking place. Businesses have lost about $2.94 billion via email scams. So this is something that is extremely prevalent, and I'm assuming may only get worse as technology advances. Have you seen anything like that?
Well, with AI making things like this just even better, the scams used to look pretty rudimentary. Like it was pretty easy to tell there were words spelled wrong. There were lots of things that just didn't look right. Well, now you get something from PayPal or Geek Squad, it looks pretty much exactly like, the original emails would look. So there was just a major data breach where, a lot of our clients reached out because they were notified of it. And you just never know on the data breaches, like how is it actually like my information is out there, or is it just a general acknowledgement that there was some sort of data breach? So, we have clients that we're asking, what do I do about that, which we'll talk a little bit more about in a little bit. But, even our business, which of course is a small business, one of the scams that we've seen consistently is when we hire a new person, within probably the first week or two, they get either an email or possibly a text, and they'll get this sent to them, and it looks like it's coming from me. And it will have some urgent request like, I need you to go buy gift cards, or I need you to do these different things. And, a lot of this stuff looks really legit. And if it's a new employee, they may not be familiar with, our standard practices, how we do things. They're just sitting there going, well, my boss is sending me something, I should probably do it. So, you really do have to be careful out there in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and that's scary really for a text message because that's really, really personal. I mean, business email addresses tend to be out there, they're somewhat easily accessible, but a text message is so personal and it would lead you to believe that that is something that is real and legitimate. So it's really, really important that people are just careful. And I think this is a good segue into some of the tips that people can follow in order to make sure they stay protected and don't fall victim to any of these types of scams. So I would say the first one is to just relax. Relax, don't make any hasty moves. Sometimes if you see some type of alert, I've seen instances where people have been told that money has been placed into their account incorrectly. Um, and so now they need to return the money. And that can be alarming to somebody. So just relax and take a moment to breathe. The second thing I would say is just to read everything carefully, check the email address, see where that email is coming from. For instance, with these Best Buy scams, if it's not coming from bestbuy.com, and that's not always sometimes people finagle those email addresses too. But sometimes if you see something coming from a Gmail account or a Hotmail account, but it says Best Buy, you want to pay attention to those types of things. You also want to have a questioning attitude. Sometimes these requests don't even make sense. Like if you're in a calm state and calm state of mind and thinking rationally, if you look at that email, it may not actually make sense. So have a questioning attitude. If you do think that the email or text message, phone call, whatever it may be, is legitimate, I would suggest going back to the source. Don't call any email, don't call any phone numbers that you see, but actually go back to documents that you may have with a legitimate phone number on it and go back to the source and say, hey, I received this alert. Is this accurate? And that vendor, company, whatsoever, will be able to inform you whether or not that is legitimate or not. Anything you want to add, Dan?
Well, you know, for some of our clients, if they are particularly worried about something, we have some clients who are in pretty good shape credit-wise, where like they don't have a mortgage, they don't need credit anytime soon. You know, one of the the most secure things you can ever do is contact the credit agencies, Experian, TransUnion, and so forth, and freeze your credit. And if you put
Yes.
a complete freeze on your credit, it's very difficult. Even if somebody gets your identity, it's very difficult for them to do anything with it. And then you'll get notifications if somebody's trying to do something, you know, kind of weird. But certainly for those people who still, you know, they need the credit, maybe they're going to be getting a mortgage, they're going to be buying a car, you know, whatever that happens to be, you can put credit alerts so that if somebody gets a hold of your ID and they set up a new credit card or whatever, now you get an alert that something's happening and you go, oh, hold on a second, that's not me. So you will see things like people will set up cell phones on, you know, these types of ID theft, and you want to be aware of that. So, you know, some of the stronger things that you can do are actually contacting the credit agencies and telling them, you know, hey, I either want to freeze this or I want credit alerts set up. Now, you know, the other thing is, if, you know, kind of piggybacking on what you said, if somebody gets that email or whatever, like I don't know if you've seen this movie, but if anyone has seen The Beekeeper with, you know, Jason Statham, it's one of the scariest things I've seen recently, because it's all about these types of scams where this woman gets this notification on her computer that, you know, she's infected with a virus and she needs to contact this phone number. And so she does. And then, of course, you know, that phone number is going to a nefarious group that ends up stealing a whole bunch of her money. And it's, you know, it's just scary because you could see that happening to almost
Mhm.
anybody. It just felt so real.
Mhm.
And, you know, for anybody that's seen that movie, you probably have even a little more paranoia about the whole thing.
I've not seen that movie, but when you brought up nefarious groups, I do want to say that if you ever receive a call, I know there are IRS scams out there. If you ever receive a call and someone is just really pressuring you, going beyond the normal questioning, I would just rule them out. I would just automatically say this is not legitimate and disconnect from communicating with them at all costs. Also, I do want to add, never give anyone access to your computer virtually. I know sometimes with your job, there may be technical issues there, and your IT department may want to remote into your computer, but don't give anyone you don't know remote access to your computer. And then you also brought up the credit, freezing your credit. I would suggest actually checking your credit report as well before you do that to make sure no new credit has been added to your social security number, your account. So you want to make sure that you are aware of what's going on with your credit. And there was just that social security breach where everyone's social security number was hacked. So there are there are crazy things going on in this world, and you just want to do your due diligence to make sure you are protecting yourself.
Well, my wife, many years ago, back when Craigslist was still kind of a thing, before Facebook Marketplace took over all of that, there were a whole bunch of Craigslist scams. And
Mm,
one of them was, she was trying to sell something. Somebody contacted her almost right away. And at some point in this whole conversation, which was all through like, text and whatever, and of course, you don't know this person, they said, well, I'm verifying you, and I need you to read back this Google code. And of course, they had her email, and they sent a Google code, and she didn't, she's just trusting that this is legit,
mm,
and she gave away this Google code, which gives people access to her Gmail.
mm.
And as soon as she did that, she told me, she goes, this is really weird. And I go, whoa, 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 hold on. What did you do? And we immediately went in, logged in, and just changed passwords, changed everything. And it was okay. Nothing came of it. But at the same time, it was just so easy for her to do that because these people are good. So like it's
Yeah.
part of a process. If they know you just hired somebody, they're going to play on the fact that you just hired somebody. If they know you're selling something, they're going to play on the fact that you're selling something. And it's unfortunate that there's so much time and energy committed out there to basically separating you from your money, but it is just the nature of the world we live in a high-tech world.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate, as you say. You do want to be able to trust people, but in these times, it's really hard to. And I also want to, as I said earlier, people are being targeted that are 65 and older. So if you have older parents, I would also check in on them, just making sure nothing crazy is going on with them as well.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I hope these tips help you to be able to protect yourself. I would also suggest changing your passwords periodically as well, because sometimes those get hacked very easily. So, but until next time, have a good one.
Thanks, Leah.
Thank you.